You just never know what's going to happen when you spend time in the great outdoors, such as when a duck hunt turns into a Kodiak bear animal rescue operation. That particular morning, a buddy and I headed out for a routine day of duck hunting. Now, we got a little bit of a late start that morning and arrived at our spot a little after sunrise, so we gathered up all of our gear and headed out across the frozen wetlands to still give it our best shot for the day. As we reached the water's edge, it was obvious that the Kodiak bears had been busy hunting and fishing as well, as there were actively used bear trails, fresh tracks, and the remains of what they had been eating scattered everywhere. Now, such things are a very common sight on places like Kodiak Island, Alaska, where both man and beast share this land together. Many who live in remote, isolated parts of Alaska, such as Kodiak, live very much of a subsistence lifestyle, and just like the bears, humans also depend on the abundant fish and game that nature provides. Thus, the wilderness becomes a place that both humans and bears do their fishing, hunting, and grocery shopping. But of course, one must always remain as respectful and safe as possible while in the bear's domain and only utilize the resources that one needs. As the hunt began that day, hardly any ducks were flying at all. In fact, the only visitors to our decoys that morning were a few seagulls and some half-dead, spawned-out salmon. As the morning progressed, we began hearing an awful sound somewhere back in the woods behind us. As we began to tune in and listen more carefully, we realized that it was a bear bawling in distress. I very carefully went in to investigate and found that the sound was coming from an alder thicket from across an opening at the base of a mountain. I got up on a hill and used my binoculars to get a better look and saw a young Kodiak bear caught in something and struggling like crazy to get free. It was obvious that there was something very wrong going on there. We had just a little bit of cell phone service in a couple areas, so we contacted the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, who came out to investigate. When biologists from the Department of Fish and Game arrived, we very carefully moved in closer to have a look and found a young 2-year-old Kodiak bear who had his paw caught in a snare trap and was desperately trying to get free. Now, trapping is legal and quite common in many parts of Alaska. And while I'm certainly no expert on trapping, I believe that trappers are encouraged to use a breakaway feature on snare traps so things like this don't happen. But unfortunately, there didn't seem to be such a feature on this particular trap. After surveying the situation, the biologist decided to tranquilize the bear in order to be able to free it with the least amount of trauma. But just as they were about to fire the dart, the bear finally broke free of the trap and headed up the mountain, which was a huge relief for all. I don't know what became of that bear, but I hope he recovered and went on to live a long, healthy life. Well, the day ended with no ducks for the roasting pot, but that was fine, as obviously there are much more important things to attend to. As I often like to remind folks, while there are certainly those who give hunting a bad name, true hunting is not about needlessly abusing our natural resources, but rather it's about respectfully harvesting wild, organic food from wild, organic places. And most importantly, it's about being a responsible caretaker and a good steward of our renewable, natural resources. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to this channel and check out the 3 Minutes Outdoors website at 3minutesoutdoors.com.